careful of those island boys. Little girl, use your head. They will tear you up like a paper toy. Oh, no, no, no. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, no, no, no.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
And I'm Rumbi.
Welcome to It's Layered.
We're in a long-distance friendship that started over 20 years ago when we were in high school.
We'll be talking about all things life, love, family, anything and everything else under the sun.
Delve deeper with us because in life, you know, Gine, my layers.
Oh, no, no, no. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, no, no, no.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of It's Layered podcast. Today, we are very excited. We've got a special guest in the building. And we're going to tell you a little bit more about them. So we've got Hillzy, born Hilary Chipunza, is one of Zimbabwe's most promising and exciting upcoming contemporary urban musicians who has already built a dedicated following across the globe using his unique voice, poignant lyrics, and captivating vulnerability, that's for sure. In 2017, Hillzy had a breakout year when he released Muroora, an impassioned and stripped-down love ballad that dominated radio and streaming platforms. To date, the song is known as one of Zimbabwe's quintessential wedding songs.
After releasing his commercially acclaimed Chisikana EP, which we loved and which we shouted out on this podcast, featuring chart-topping collaborations with Shasha and Gemma Griffiths, Hillzy continued to tour and perform within and out of Zimbabwe. After the success of Chisikana, Hillzy has now just released his latest EP, In the Building. Welcome to It's Layered Podcast, Hillzy. You're in the building, in our It's Layered Podcast building.
I'm with you. How are you, bro?
We're great. Thank you so much for being here. You have to say it's Hillzy in the building. If anyone knows his music,
Hillzy in the building.
That's his, tagline. Anytime he starts a song. Yeah, we're so stoked to have you as fans of your music and your work ethic and everything you're currently up to. Anyone who knows the In the Building, the anthem for us, I think Amanda and I were talking about it earlier before we started recording. Naro is our anthem. Manswana anchaite Naro nevan. Let's not butcher the song for the people, but it is an anthem. We suggest you listen to it. So before we get all into the music and all that, we just wanted to say, Hillzy, who is Hillzy? How would you describe yourself, or how would those closest to you describe you?
So Hillzy is an artist. During the night, I would say, and a producer. And then during the day, I am an iOS developer. So I make apps for like iPhones. That's what I did like for school. I'm also into a little bit of farming. I help out with my parents. They're out there at the farm. But yeah, essentially that's me. The closest to me actually call me Mr. Masin. So if you ever hear anything that says this is a Mr. Masin production, I actually composed it. So yeah, that's pretty much who Hillzy is. I'm always kind of busy. If I'm not at the farm, I'm here like in Harare recording. Or if I'm not here, then I'm on my computer making apps. But yeah, that's really about me.
Wow, talk about multifaceted in all ways. Like, I think he studied computer engineering at UCT, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we saw the reference to Long Street. So you're like, hey, UCT boy.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, I was at UCT, and that's when pretty much like the whole Hillzy, my career started, I'd say. Because I was fresh out of high school. I went to St. Faith. It's a mission school in Risabe. And most of the time it was just like choral stuff, like choir, scripture union. But I always had a dream of like, I want to buy myself like a microphone. So I pretty much bought like the, your modern day podcasters setup, which is like a young mic and a condenser. And then I started just watching YouTube videos. So it's like, it's either I'm in lectures or, like I'm playing around with the computer. So by the time 2017, I was graduating, yes. So that's when I came up with Muroora. And yeah, ever since, like, pretty much people, started recognizing me for like the music kind of thing. But yeah.
That's wonderful. Shout out to
That is
Rusape.
wonderful.
That's where my mom's from. What it do, what it do. Huh?
Yeah.
Mhm.
How would you describe your own journey to music? I mean, you spoke about being in Rusape and honing, but since when Muroora came out till now, what has that journey been like?
Yo, it's been a roller coaster because what's crazy is what people are seeing now is what I was seeing in myself in 2016. So it's like I've been trying to paint this picture, it's like, yo, I'm this guy, this is what I'm trying to do or where I'm trying to be at. So if anything, it has been such a roller coaster because sometimes you feel like, okay, fine, some people get it, but for the most of it, people, don't really get, or they're not really seeing the vision.
Yeah.
So it really has had its ups and downs, but I'm just so grateful that in life, any form of like success comes with like consistency. There's no one who is successful in life who's not consistent. So I'm just grateful I was consistent through and through, and I can't really say I made much or I've made much here. This is really like the beginning, but a lot of people give up when they don't, get something in return. So I'm just grateful that for me, it was like gym, you do it like every day. It's like food. Yeah, you eat food every day. So I'm just glad the consistency pretty much, helped me. But I honestly cannot like describe all the feelings like in one word. All I can just say it's in a roller coaster,
Yeah.
But yeah, we're here and I'm truly grateful for the journey. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really, really dope. And I think it seems to be a thing that I keep hearing more and more. It's like if you want to do something, you've got to be consistent, even when people don't see the vision or where you're headed. How was it like in terms of your family and friends? Were they supportive from jump, or how did that dynamic work out for you in wanting to do music?
So from a friend's perspective, I think my friends already knew like I was a music head, used to know like all the latest songs that were out, like. And then when I slowly recorded my first song, I think it was like Form 4 VAC, like after writing exams, everyone wants to do something. And I was like, I'm going to record my first single. So people pretty much were like, now we're rooting for you. But at home, obviously, it was something that's so foreign because like my dad is a doctor by profession. And he was just like, nah, dog, the books come first. Everything else. And I remember back in the day, like he used to say, I could buy you any kind of textbook, no matter how expensive it is, as opposed to buying you like say like a PlayStation. That's how hard he was like with education. So to me, it was like, okay, fine, I'll do this. I'll do the education side of things, and then later on, I'll get to do what I want. So after A levels, that's when I was like, he wanted me to go and study medicine at UZ, but at the back of my head, I was like, nah, if I stay close to home, I feel like I'm not gonna expand, in terms of like music or just be myself and find myself. So that's how I fought to, go study computer science, Cape Town. And that's when I, essentially like built everything up. So here and there, they would hear people be like, when am I gonna be? I'm not here. And I'll just brush it off, just brush it off. I'm like, And then my dad would be like, what part of this is the And I'm like, Dad, it was my hobbies. And you're just, so it was really hard. Until I think I released Amai. So when I released Amai, came back to Zim for holiday. And then a lot of like elders people were like, your son is so sweet, whatever. And then my mom hadn't actually listened to the song. When she listened to it, she cried. She literally cried. And I was just like, okay, maybe we might be onto something here. So my mom was low-key tolerative at that point. And then I would say after Muroora now. Muroora, I have my dad in the music video. I have my mom as well. Nice. So they knew I was doing it like low-key. But one day I just ended up picking up the call and I'm like, yo, I'm doing this music video and can you please come? They were at the farm. They're like, okay, so and I'm like, yes, please just come through. So I think that's when, and that was 2017 when they also knew I was graduating. So I think that's when I got like the official stamp from my from my parents, but everyone else was approving. But ever since then, when I also got that low-key parental blessing, that's when the music also really started, like, doing rounds
flowing.
as well. So now, every now and then, I'm doing like errands with my mom.
Yeah.
People are just like, hey, I'm chatting, like every day. She's also like, yeah, greet them back, And my dad.
Yeah.
Shout out to your parents, really. Shout out to your
Shout out
parents.
for sure. Isn't it, and we've spoken about this in other episodes, right, Amanda, about parents and like how I think it's really hard for especially African parents to grasp that we have dreams different to what they thought should be our dreams. It's changed. Yeah, it's changed.
100%. I saw this on Twitter one day where like, girls are just sharing their experiences, say when they got pregnant versus like, let's say they were not married. And then to a point where now, like then versus now. And then it's like the parents are so inseparable with the grandchildren. They were so, mad at that point. Hey, what was but they're inseparable. So I feel like it was the same with my journey, because now when I'm out and I'm with my dad, he is like, okay, I'm Dr. Chipunza. And then he all of a sudden goes, Murumzero.
No.
It's like, but at first, the amount of friction that was there, so to add on to that, it's 100%. I think our parents have like the best for us. And sometimes the best for us is in what they really envision.
When they envision. Yeah. It's so you've just pretty much answered what I was going to ask you next. What has it taken for you to make it this far? And, it sounds like with parents, obviously there was that journey as you just described. But what do you think personally you've had to sacrifice to make it this far in Zimbabwean music scene?
I think I've sacrificed a lot of time. I'm not really outgoing. So the music is out there, but as for me, it's either like I'm in the studio or, I'm working on something else, or even like, so I think another thing that attributes to my life being busy is I'm an only child. So you can imagine being an only child and your parents don't want you, they're scared you might, not make it in school or like in the music scene as well. So the pressure has always been like at the back of my head. And also like with just Shona culture, people are just like reinforcing you like, nah, you're the only one. You need to fight, that kind of a thing. So I think I've really sacrificed like a lot of time, like in the music, like you're saying, when you say like quality. So I think what differentiates me from other artists is I think a lot of people have like, say, 7 people working on their music. Like they go and record at someone's studio and then someone mixes it and masters it. For me, it's like everything, like beats, I record, I pretty much do everything in-house, which has helped me as well because it's like it has maintained the vibes and the ethic as well. But I'm also getting to a point where I also want people who share the same vision, who are also as hardworking as I am, to pretty much like help me out with the work. So I do have like a few friends, like I have Beatsmith. We were also together at UCT, but he also makes some of my beats and he masters some of my stuff. I also trust him. So I would say, I think the journey is really just, I've sacrificed so much time. Even sometimes when friends are like, yo, December, people flying from the
December,
they want to live, on that vibe. And I'm like, but sorry, I don't know, farm or, really farm, you said. So, but yeah, I think for me, that's like the biggest sacrifice.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's so commendable, Hillzy. You are honing your craft.
Yes.
You are knowing your music through and through. And you can't, people say it takes 10,000 hours. What is it to become? You are literally putting that work and that time in, and it shows in your music.
It's evident,
So don't knock yourself. Get December can wait. Once you are, so it's
like, and you can hear it. And we were talking about how we can listen to your music top to bottom. Like we listen.
Yeah, body of
your
work.
EPs are a body of work that you can just listen to, and not even the biggest artists out there are able, like not many are able to pull that off currently.
Same thing.
So it definitely shows. And you've also collaborated with some Waits, Shasha and Gemma, friend of the podcast, and recently been featured on BBC Africa. Firstly, I would like to know, who are your musical inspirations, and then what is your dream collaboration, if you were able to say it?
Okay, so I listen to a lot of Chris Brown. I listen to hip hop. Let's just say hip hop. So 2008, I was in Form. Damn, that's a long time ago. I was in Form 4. Yeah, I was in Form 4. And the craze was just, Anna Chris Brown, Anna Beyonce, Rick Ross, that era of music. For me, I still think that's like the epic sound, like I feel like all these other like songs that are coming out now are just really rooting from that era. So a lot of Chris Brown, a lot of Drake, Lil Wayne sometimes when it comes to just like writing, like saying, smart things. But mostly right now, because Drake and Chris Brown are still releasing, I listen to them. Then like in Africa, I listen to Blackie, I listen to Nasty C. And then locally, I listen to like underground artists. I listen to Yamikani, I listen to another kid called Simdo. But if you literally just listen to the whole catalog, that's pretty much where I get like my sound and my inspiration from. But back in the day when I was growing up, my mom used to listen to a lot of Tuku and a lot of Siboma Kabani. So there's also like a lot of gospel that is backed, like my music as well. So it's a bunch. But now I would say for me it's Drake and Chris Brown. And the goal honestly is to just have a song with Chris Brown. I don't know.
Well, Chris be loving us Africans, I will say.
True. We can manifest that for you. It's gonna happen.
We will manifest for sure. Sure.
And I also when I've been recording or like composing, my aim has always been to like, I remember as far as like I was in high school, I'd be like, how do I make my song or my voice sound like this urban song? It wasn't really about, I'm a rapper and I'm going to make it. Beyond that, it was like the quality you guys are speaking of. Like, I would rather sing crap and have it like be quality. I want someone to like say, play an American song. And then if they press next, it needs to be seamless with, like with my song. It's going to be a Hillzy song. So that's what I've been pushing for, like, beyond like just the message. So those guys, or I'd say just LA inspires me a lot, like in terms of like music, because I just think that's like the end game. So hopefully I'll be there. I mean, right now I'm speaking to Chris Brown's producer. He's actually been sending me beats, so we're working, but it's almost like I'm just one person away. And I just hope like one will be like, hey, I see you. But it's only a matter of time, and I honestly just trust the process. I'm just gonna keep doing me because that's what I've been doing, so
that's the key. I think that is seriously the key. Do you enjoy touring, playing at live shows, meeting your fans? I know you said you like to keep to yourself, but I'm sure when it comes to your music, you do enjoy being out there.
No, guys, I'll tell you one thing. Oh my God. Like I'm such an introvert, right? And what's wild is when you meet someone, you don't know where the euphoria specifically is coming from, which song and what message do they, or like what do they perceive you as, like in that moment in time. So it's a bunch of reactions from a bunch of people all at the same time. So sometimes I hella get overwhelmed because I'm also that kind of a person who, if I get to a place, I want to speak to everyone. If someone says, Koinini, Hillzy, Koinini, I want to be there. But you're like, man, I honestly can't be there for, all of you guys. So but the moments that I cherish the most are, so sometimes, like I said, I'm into farming. I help my parents. So sometimes I don't want to know my industry. Go to my downtown, getting like my parts. And then people are like, those low-key 1v1s. I love those because it's like we can have a full conversation without people disturbing, or when it shows, it's a different thing altogether. I do love the, the attention, or at least like the feedback. People are happy because you're singing, you're doing something. So yeah, I love that. But yeah, overwhelmed, overwhelmed. So and then yeah, I just need to do what I do on stage. But once I get on stage as well, when you just have something kick in, it's like diving into water. At first, Chicago could dive, and then all of a sudden, once you dive, you're in there. So that's what always happens. I'm so nervous before I get on stage. I'm like, I'm going to go, like if the microphone just goes off, or if people just start throwing bottles, you have no idea. But
but nerves are good. People say nerves are good. Nerves show you care.
Yes.
So it's good. It's a good thing. And because you hone them and still, do your show.
Yeah.
It's okay.
And I think one thing also that I forgot to mention was, so most of these things, or the music, I was in Cape Town because I have more of an online presence than a public, presence. So when I got back to Zim, it was also like so different because in Cape Town, I was just like a normal, developer, wake up, and do it. But Kuno, it's so different. I can't do that anymore. And I've definitely adjusted, but I'm not yet there, where I can be like, this is me. Because all the time it's going to be someone, and I love it because people share their personal stories. So someone will be like, I'm a fan, actually, song, propose, or song, it's those small gems that then help me and be like, if I get back in the studio, I'm like, I know who I'm doing this for. Beyond me, it's about also the people that I inspire in like different ways. But
that's a perfect segue, because then I wanted to ask you what you want those who listen to your music to garner most from listening to your music. So what do you want people to receive from your music? It seems like you're making your music, your audience, who you're making it for. What do you want them to take away when they listen to your music?
Well, that's a deeper question, to be honest.
Yeah, we delve deeper here.
We do. I teach question. Do we go there? We go there.
Tell us.
Well, so for me, I just want people to know that there's a real and authentic music, or like authentic connections. You can genuinely connect with people through music, because there are people who, like, let's say, so Dakari. So I don't know if you guys know about Dakari, but Dakari is like G is his producer. He's actually Zimbabwean.
Yes.
Yeah, so he's the one I did Chisikana with. He moved down from LA. He's now staying in Nyanga. But he literally was like, I want to work with you. And I learned so much from him. And one of his things, at least what he said to me, is like, your music has soul, like it has soul, as in you listen to a song and you want to be like, who's this person? Or you want to know more about that person. It's like when you're drinking something that's delicious. What are the
ingredients? Yeah.
Right? As opposed to, and there's some songs or some artists who, like, you listen to it, but it's just at the top of your mind.
Yes.
And that's it. So I think for me, it's that soul that's under the music that I just want people to know that genuinely you can make connections with music. There's people who I met in the, like, Tombo Jindru, and they're like, Mr. Masin, and they start telling me where I stay, like all these things, like they know me. It's like, even when we chill, it's like this person genuinely gets me. So it's like, I feel like I'm just another soul that just represents a million more out there, and how they also feel. And like connections within music also genuinely, like, exist. So for me, I think that's what is also like keeping the music going, because people hear the soul. It's not about if the beat is a banger, or if there's some bars or not. More than anything, it's just like the soul. It's soulful music, and you can listen to it and you can just really feel aligned, or you can start thinking about stuff. You can start thinking about your life. Music that actually makes you sit down and like be in another place. So I think that's what I want people to feel when they listen to my music at the end of the day.
That's dope. And the
Yeah.
vulnerability also shines through, the authenticity shines through. I absolutely get what you're saying about some music. You listen surface level, like you're just here, okay,
Yeah.
nice beat. But like when you get to, and it's funny because my sister is a huge Chris Brown fan. And she's like, there's something about Chris Brown when he just like sings and I get that. It's like, even though yes, he does so much music, but he still has the heart and soul for it. Which is what I feel about Drake, old Drake. Okay, I'm old. Let me not give away my age,
Yes.
but I feel that way about old Drake. Yeah. Thank me later, Drake.
Thank you later, Drake.
All that, like I get that from him.
You know, you've talked a lot about the work you've put into your own music, the journey you've told us. What advice would you give to someone who's aspiring to do music within Zimbabwe?
I would say set your goals first. I think that's number one. It's key because you don't want to be like a plastic bag. So can
you please take a moment to appreciate that bar? You don't want to be a plastic
bag. But do you understand what I'm saying?
Like, yes.
Like, I think as an artist, you need to like define or find your sound to be like, right, this is, even if I don't know if I jump on this other song, people can tell this is Hillzy. So I think it's like find your sound, set your goals. Even if R&B or even if, just hone your skill, like be good at one thing, or at least like one specific genre. People should get to a point where they know that if Hillzy was on this, he would kill it. Those kind of vibes, like cement your work. And if anything, you just keep working. For me, Nini, I've avoided a lot of controversy. I've avoided a lot of things by just staying in the studio and just working. And so for me, I think the work ethic comes first. As opposed to like these days, I feel like social media, Instagram, people also want to like work on an image at the same time. They want to work like on the sound, and then they want to provoke someone so that like all eyes on them. And I feel like that's not music. When you're doing that, that's showbiz, to be honest. Like if you really want to be like master of the craft, like just get in the studio, work, and you will get better. It's like running. If you're gonna run around your wood, first day you're gonna do 15 minutes. Second day maybe 40. 6 weeks later you'll be doing like 9 minutes. Do you understand? So I feel like a lot of people don't put the work in. They don't actually put the work ethic to be like, I'm working, regardless of if this is going to be posted on Zim Celebs or not, or Ichichiru Pisa or not. I feel like it's exercise, and you do get better. You get feedback from that. So keep working, set your goals, and just don't be moved, man. Like set your goals and stick at it. And once you achieve your goal, you go on to the next.
You mentioned that on your BBC Africa interview about how, I think there was a question around, are you going to go into Afro beats or like that genre?
Yes.
And I distinctly remember you saying that while I may feature on a song for Afro beats or, I don't see myself going to say I'm going to pursue that genre. And I thought that struck me quite a bit, because I was like, okay, this is someone who knows what he wants and knows what his music
My
is,
lane as well.
what your lane is, what you're good at, and people don't like that, right? Like some people are like, oh no, you need to be able to just, and it's like, no,
jump on the trends.
Jump on trends. Like you obviously do it for the music, and you obviously know what you're doing. Yeah. For
me, so the reason why I say that, so for instance, an example is with Chargie. The reason why I did Chargie was I had actually listened to that Oxalate song, the Infinity, right? And I was like, yo, this is so nice. I want to make something like that. And I made that, but obviously I was like, I want to make my own, different, my Afrobeat version. However, with Chargie being successful, I can't then call myself the Afrobeat king. Do you understand? Like,
Yeah.
it's only one song. I did it nice. It's like you're a soccer star, you're Leo Messi. If you can defend Borawan, as
You are defender.
it's like you have to have your lane. So that's why I was like, in as much as I can make the craft, I can work on it. And I just don't have a deeper connection to it, and I wouldn't know my ways as to like making a whole Afrobeat album. As if Ugandipa verse, Ugandipa Hillzy, do me a verse. I did a song for Trevor D, Love Story. It was very Afrobeaty, and it worked out because I just gave him the verse. But if you give me like a hip hop song, an R&B song, I can tell you from start to finish how to layer it, and how also, and I'll know, even if I have like if someone annotated R&B, if they're in the US, they can resonate to this. They can see good, this person is actually followed structure. Oh wow, we talk a bridge, So that's pretty much what I was saying. Like 100%, I could make a pop song, I would make a Sungura song, but only as a feature because so yeah, 100%.
It's great that you say that because even like Rimbi and I were saying with Premiere with Gemma, we've never heard Gemma sound like that when she was on your song. Like, and you've just proven by saying this. And you led that song for her. The way she sang it. So you've just literally proven exactly what you're saying. You're not just saying these words and it's empty because you were just saying, oh my gosh, Gemma sounds so different, but it fits in with what you're doing. So I love that you're able to produce and bring that out of her as well. It just speaks to your talent. It really does.
Even Shasha, I think we hadn't heard, her current album hadn't come out yet. And on Goodbye, it was still Shasha, still the voice. But I was like, oh, okay. And now we got a lot more of the R&B vibes from her in her latest project, I'm Alive. Like, do you understand? So, Andrew, for me, currently on repeat is Bling. I love Bling. How you did like that beat, that progression, how you build that. And it's very, it's not doing too much. Well. Yeah. Like your music often leaves you wanting more. You're like, I could listen to this again. I want to hear more.
Repeat.
I want to hear more. Repeat. So
and it's funny you mentioned Chargie because I'm an Afrobeat head. So Chargie has been on repeat for me. Because I see that. So you see, all to say, all the work you put in, all the intent you put behind your music shows, and the quality is unprecedented. And keep going. Like seriously, you're obviously getting what you're trying to put out there.
Yeah, we're getting it.
Thank you. But like such an unpopular opinion. So I think I'm more of a producer more than I am like an artist. So all these things, you're telling me the sonics and everything. I pretty much arrange that, as opposed to, okay, fine, like, yes, right, lyrics, but I think most of the work that I'm even obsessed with, and this also comes to like, I think I want to sign people now. I want to start like, bringing other artists. But for me, my biggest worry or concern was, in as much as I have all this knowledge, I haven't really implemented it. So Hillzy has pretty much like, implemented what I would want to envision. Even if I want to sign someone, I can easily then say, yo, I know these guys and Arumbi who have a podcast. I know DJ Edu from BBC. It's like, you don't just want to be signed and you're seated there. You're also expecting something, that kind of a thing. So I feel like beyond that, the Sonics are definitely helping me build this thing that I can then eventually like, get to share with other artists. And even when I record with them, I show them how I do it eventually so that, they can also become someone. So I'm grateful that you guys are telling me all these things, are giving me this feedback, because it's like, wow, it's really coming together.
No, we see it. And I see, don't lie, Munema bars, Long Street. I just needed to say that.
Yeah,
You have
right.
bars. Shem.
But you know, it's kind of funny you're coming to this conclusion that maybe you are more a producer because all the things you talked about, like touring and sometimes being on stage. So maybe it's like now you know the whole craft, and now you're deciding I want to, appreciate the music and take a step back, and like that's not bad either because now you know the whole story. So even when you're imparting wisdom on people you sign up, they will know what you're talking about. You're not just talking.
Yes, but that's what Anna Jay-Z did, no? That's the whole premise. Like he comes out once in a blue moon on and then he goes back. And that was his whole premise.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say, so Mr. Masin, what Masin actually means is massive in-house. So it's short for that. So it's mass for massive, and then the INH is in-house. So Masin. So eventually, I just want to be Mr. Masin, putting on careers, like R&B artists, hip-hop artists, based off of like what I've obviously done, based off of my mileage. So that's definitely the goal. I do not intend, like to make music the whole time. Again, the writing is amazing. I definitely say I love how I write, but I want to do it for a bigger star. Like I really hope that, there'll be someone else from Zim, who can carry on the torch, but I want to be input on just, like writing for them. And then, they become a bigger artist, because I've also learned that with the music industry, you build with each other and on top of each other. You need someone like with Naro. I didn't make the beat for Naro. Neither did I know I was going to make it, but someone just sent me the beat. I listened to it. I was like, oh my God. And it also like unlocked my, my writing ability. I was like, wow, I had so much fun with it. And that's how it should be as well. It's like, if I get onto this podcast, I should inspire you guys, or at least you should then have a different outlook, with regards to like artists or musicians. And, it builds on top of that. At the end of the day, we are all inspired by, someone. And I just want my scene to be that inspirational guy, and beyond that, I think now it's just the proof of work. I'm just building the proof of it. And then if you hear now, Hilzy assign someone, you can also be like, I'll listen to that person's music.
Yes, exactly.
I know how this guy works. So Vijana will get.
That's dope. No, Hilzy, I mean, this has been so much fun, like talking to you. It's always great when you speak to someone and they match or exceed your not expectations, but like what you thought they were, and then they exceed or supersede that. Like you're just like, okay, it tracks. Like you were like, oh, it tracks. Why? I like the music, or I enjoy or connect with it. So it absolutely makes sense. Our final question, I guess, would be any upcoming projects that you would like to share with us, as well as your social media, if people don't know, so please let us know.
I think I'm gonna work on an EP, another one.
Hey.
The aim for In the Building was, again, you heard on the BBC interview, just to get on the African roster. So just from the EP, I definitely have gotten like, proper shout outs, aka Shoma Josie, Gigi, the Chris Brown producer. Like there's people who are definitely, they want to work. Yes. So for me, it was a question of, should I do a deluxe of like In the Building with the Naro remix in there, or do I completely just start a new body of work? So right now I think I'm just gonna start a new body of work, because I already have songs that are loaded and packed beyond the sound. So I found my sound first. Now I've found my strategy as well. So I'm just going to be implementing that. The numbers are amazing with In the Building, and I want to double that now. Hopefully with more like international collaborations as well. And then with regards to my socials, it's Hillzy, HILLZY 911. the 911 is completely a random thing. People always ask me like, Dara,
911.
Emergency.
Isn't it funny? When we started our socials, you probably didn't even think. Then now you're like, I can't go back and remove someone.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so it's like my Twitter. I got onto Twitter. Hillzy was already taken, and I put a 911 there, and then Instagram came up. You know, YouTube, but I think panega consistency so it's Hillzy 911 on all platforms.
You know, now you need to release an EP or something that's just 911, so we can tie it all together.
Like emergency.
No, what the EP is actually supposed to be called is 11 past 9. It needs to be 9. I was thinking of that, but who knows? You know, like I'll see how I'll work with it, but 100%. And a lot of people already call me 911. Like they're like, Dara 911, just say 911. What do you say? So I'm like,
our people,
might
of
as
course,
well.
waste no time.
The nicknames.
They don't waste time.
Quick with it.
This has been absolutely amazing for us. You know, we also love how seamlessly you sing with our language as well, with Shona and English intertwined, because that is how Zimbabweans are. And I think when you sing like that as well, it just resonates so much with us, because that's how we speak, that's how we interact. And we are big fans and cannot wait to see all the things that are coming your way, all the manifestations, everything you talked about. We wish you all the best. We are absolutely stoked that you came onto our podcast. And Rumbi, anything else?
No, you've said it all. Thank you. Thank you so much, Hillzy. If you haven't listened to his music, please check it out. It's on Spotify or wherever you guys listen to your music. It's everywhere. It's well worth it. Well worth it. Mambo terra mabaz, mambo, you know. But he also sings a lot of ballads too, ladies.
Yes.
He be crooning to you guys. So I'm just saying. Thank you so much. And thank you, of course, as always, for listening to another episode of our podcast. It's Layered. If you have questions, hit us up. It's layeredpod@gmail.com. We're on Instagram. It's Layered. Twitter. It's layeredpod. You know. And thank you so much. We'll see you on the next episode. Goodbye.
Bye.